Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's video. This week we're making a resin and burl nightlight. Ran into a couple problems, so stick around and see how we conquered those. Using Total Boat Epoxy, the medium 2:1. Discount code in the video description if you want to check them out. They're a great supporter of makers, so please do. Using a plastic container to put the burl in, and using some transparent color so you can still see through once it's cured and be able to see the light coming out. So this is the first color. I used two different colors. This is blue. I'll link these colors in the video description as well. Pour number 2, I'm going to go with a green color. And I did use the pressure pot in this one. I know I get a lot of questions about that. As you can see, the pressure pot kind of pulled that in a little bit. That's one of the things that posed a couple problems. But we continue on and still make a nightlight at the end of the day. No pun intended. So there it is. Coming out of the pressure pot, it looked pretty good. No major bubbles, just that one indentation. And I think that probably happened because it wasn't full of resin and the top was, empty. And it just pulled that in with all of the pressure. So marking center on the top and the bottom. And even though this is unorthodox, I am using a faceplate directly into the resin. I knew I was going to turn away much of the resin, and I wasn't really worried about losing that much. I used smallish, I think they were 1 1/4" screws. So I use both carbide negative rake tools and my regular go-to Carter & Son bowl gouge on this. Starting out, I am using an Easywood Tools negative rake. And now I'm switching over to the Carter & Son 5/8 bowl gouge, also linked in the video description. And because of that indentation that the pressure pot made, this was out of balance for a little while. At this point, the lathe is about 400 or 450 RPMs. So really just trying to get it in balance at first. You can really tell it's out of balance there. And it makes a mess. A lot of stopping and starting, at least for me when I work with resin, because number 1, I get covered in it. Number 2, the lathe gets covered in it. And sometimes the camera as well. So have to stop and clean very often. Working on a tenon with the skew chisel. The tenon in this burl wood is going to be pretty strong, so I'm also going to have the tailstock pulled up most of the time when it's reversed in the tenon. taking the faceplate off. And using my Nova chuck. Much more in balance at this point. Not perfect, but a heck of a lot better. So the speed is at around 650 right now, and I'm still really just truing it up for the most part, and cleaning up all the resin mess in between. And while you watch me get covered in resin, it's a good as time as any to click that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. I do put out a new video every week. Free to subscribe. Hit the bell icon if you want to be notified anytime I upload new content, which is at least weekly. Thank you in advance. If you're already subscribed, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, and be sure to share the video on your social media. That will help as well. That helps support the channel. Here with the Carter & Son bowl gouge. And back to the EasyWood Tools negative rake on that resin. As you can see, there's a crack in the resin. It's not bad. It doesn't go all the way through. Most of it will get turned away. But one of the other issues I ran into, which you really can't tell unless I told you, but one of the screws broke off in the faceplate, so it's still in the resin. So I'm going to be turning the very top of that green part away, starting, you'll see in a minute, where I just remove I don't know, an inch or so, maybe not quite, so I don't, hit any tools. I mean, hit the screw with any tools. So that's the area there on top where right above the line that I marked. So taking away some of the resin. And I didn't catch it on camera, but as you saw, there's a big crack, a big piece of a chunk of resin that came off. Not totally unexpected. And everything was fine. It didn't hit me. Flew across the room. And just so I don't hit any of the tools on that screw, I decided to use the pull saw and take the rest of that off to forgo any potential damage. And at this point in the project, I was trying to decide what final shape to make this. Initially, I went into it thinking just the cylinder shape. I decided that that was a little bit boring, so I decided to make a curved top. At the end, the end shape looks a little bit like a bullet or a buoy. Let me know which one you think it looks like in the comments down below. And if you're not from Maine and you don't know what a buoy is or what one is used for in Maine, somebody down in the comments I'm sure will describe. So taking away the tailstock so I can finalize the shape. And starting the sanding process with 120. I sanded the wood portion all the way up to 400. And for the resin portion, I sanded up to 3000 grit. I don't show all of it here. I think I'm only showing to 1500. But I wet sanded, as you can see. And that burl and the resin, to me at this point, look really good together. Denatured alcohol really brings out what the shine is going to look like. And of course the Axe abrasive paste. I do have a discount code for Axe in the video description. Be sure to check them out. So many people that contacted me saying, I finally tried the Axe, I used your discount code and I love it. So if you haven't tried it yet, please use the discount code and do so. This is the Axe polishing paste. It's a 2-step process. And look at that sheen. Using the pull saw again to take it off of the chuck and removing most of the tenon. I sanded the rest of the tenon off, and I am using the drill to make a hole for the LED lights that will be the nightlight. So here are the beauty shots. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Until next week, thank you again and peace out.